Hey there, brand builders. Liz Nolly Tillman here, and welcome to My Secret Sauce, where I share tips, tricks, and success strategies designed to help you build your brand, be yourself, and win in business. Are you having necessary conversations, or are you stuck having difficult ones? In this world where we're facing all kinds of pandemics, from coronavirus to racial injustices perpetuated by celebrities, sports teams, the police, Karens, Kens, and everything in between, we are repeatedly hearing that the key to reconciliation, solving our differences, and moving forward and towards healing is listening, learning, and having a certain kind of conversation. Often these conversations are described as difficult, uncomfortable, tough, hard, you name it. And while all those words may in fact apply to those conversations that we need to have in pursuit of healing, they're actually contributing to a lack of progress. Why? Because viewing those types of conversations as difficult predisposes us to think of them as negatively charged. When we think of something as difficult, it brings emotion into it. It puts us on the offensive or the defensive, depending upon our point of view, right from the start. So almost immediately, we're going to come into that conversation in a confrontational and often counterproductive way. In other words, viewing a conversation as difficult, uncomfortable, tough, hard, or what have you, really only succeeds in talking ourselves out of having a successful conversation before we even try. So what should we do? Instead, I'd like to challenge each of us right here, right now, to change the conversation simply by reframing how you think about it. Instead of thinking about it as difficult, think about it as necessary. Because when we think of things as necessary, we begin to see them as not optional, and therefore something we have to deal with, must deal with, is imperative to deal with, even if we're afraid, nervous, uncomfortable, or feeling some kind of way about it. When we do things that are necessary in our lives all the time. It's necessary for us to pay taxes. For most of us, it's necessary to get up and go to work every day. It's necessary to take care of the people and things in our lives that we love. So if you think about it, consider what scientists call the fight or flight response. This is that adrenaline boost that kicks in when we're faced with life-threatening, dangerous situations. And it's the same thing that causes moms to be able to lift a car in order to save their baby, or people like James Shaw Jr., the Waffle House shooting hero. And if you don't remember the story, Google him. He literally disarmed a gunman who was going to commit a mass shooting at a Waffle House, and James Shaw Jr. was unarmed. He had no weapons. He just did what he had to do and stopped this guy literally in his tracks before he had a chance to shoot up a whole Waffle House. Why? Because he was motivated by doing what he had to do to get home so he could see his baby daughter again, right? So whether it's running into a burning building, jumping into a pool to save somebody who's drowning, paying our taxes, sitting down, having our performance review, proposing to our significant other, talking to our kids about drugs, sex, and anything else that they might be challenged with that makes us uncomfortable and maybe them uncomfortable too, or whatever the conversation is. If we view it as necessary, we suck it up. We buckle down, we buck up, and we do what we have to do to have that conversation and make it happen. So that's why I'm challenging all of us today to deal with all of these conversations that are swirling around that we're dealing with as necessary instead of difficult. things are so much easier to navigate in a constructive manner that enables both sides, both participants in that conversation, to be listened to and to be heard when we view the conversation as necessary instead of difficult. That's why in my Your Folding Chair on-demand coaching program, and even in my one-on-one coaching programs with clients, I share a simple 4-step framework that walks you step by step through the process of how to structure a necessary conversation. It's something my husband uses with me all the time and that I too use all the time, because sometimes when we plan out the conversation, it helps us to make sure that we achieve the objectives that we want out of that conversation, anticipate the objections and concerns that that other person might have, and then speak to those concerns as part of the messaging that we deliver, and so we can get to a place where we're leaving that conversation with the agreements and a productive way to move forward, or at a minimum, an acknowledgement that says, yes, did you hear me? I heard you. Yes, I did. Great. So that we can move forward. So if you learn how to structure a necessary conversation, you can learn how to be heard and approach even the most challenging conversations in a manner that gets you closer to your objectives for each interaction without letting your emotions pull you off track. Because when we view things as difficult, emotions rule. But when we view things as necessary, we can get to a much healthier, productive place much more quickly. But it all starts with changing how you view those conversations to begin with. So if you want to go deeper into the art of having a necessary conversation, log on to www.yourfoldingchair.com today and take a look at the new training that I just released on this exact process. Or if you need a little additional support, you can always visit my website at yourfoldingchair.com or liznollytillman.com and get some time on my calendar so we can put together a one-on-one coaching program that works just for you and addresses this and any other issues that might be tripping you up. Either way, I want to congratulate you today on taking this important first step towards removing the word difficult from your vocabulary, particularly when it appears in front of the word conversation, right? And I want to commend you for replacing that word with the word necessary so that you can take this important step forward towards effective conversation by focusing on necessary conversations instead of difficult ones. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. And if you like this episode, and you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this on Instagram or Facebook, please follow me. And if you do nothing else, head on over to liznollytillman.com and look in my freebie section for my brand new Find Your Purpose Action Planner. I just released this, and it's my step-by-step roadmap to identifying and articulating your purpose so you always know what your true north is and so you can live the life that you were meant to live. It's free, it's an instant download, and you can get it right now. Head over to liznollytillman.com, check out the freebies section, and you'll see the first item there is your Find Your Purpose Action Planner. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.